Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every human being and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound together not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here.
Good morning. My name is Hala Hazar, and I'm the worship coordinator for today's service. It is so wonderful to gather this morning with our virtual congregation in the Zoom room and all of you here in the sanctuary. I invite the Zoomers to please say hello in the chat and tell us where you're Zooming in from today. I hope all of you in the in-person congregation will plan to join us in the Honeywell Chapel right through the leather door up front after the service. Those of you on Zoom are invited to stay on for remote fellowship as well. Thank you to all who are joining Rev Parissa and me in creating today's service. Tech team, greeters, ushers, worship team, coffee hour hosts, musicians, members of the Arlington Street Choir, and of course, our beloved director of music, Mark David Buckles. If you're new to Arlington Street, welcome. We are so glad you're here and would love to stay connected. I hope you will visit the website at ascboston.org and sign up for Snapshot, our weekly e-newsletter. Please be sure to get a copy of today's order of service. It's available on the homepage at ascboston.org, and there are printed copies at the great doors. On the last page of the order of service, you'll find information on upcoming Arlington Street events. There is a lot going on, both in person and on Zoom, and we'd love to see you this week. If you'd like to submit an announcement, please email the church office at ascboston.org by Wednesday evening so it can be included in the e-newsletter and in the order of service. Each Sunday, we share community candles of sorrow and joy. These can be submitted in advance through our website. If you came this morning with a joy or concern on your heart, you are invited to light a candle at home and share in the chat, or come up and light a silent candle at the table to the right of the Gleason podium. Jen Eno is now going to turn the camera on the in-person congregation as we wave and smile at each other, as well as our friends in the Zoom room, and you all in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. Hello, friends. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart. Whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time at Arlington Street, welcome home.
Holy and beautiful, the custom which brings us together to face our ideals and to be enlightened.
Holy and beautiful, the custom which brings us together to give thanks and to be strengthened.
Through this quiet hour breathes the worship of ages.
Through this quiet hour we hear the sacred music of history.
Three unseen guests attend: faith, hope, and love.
Let all our hearts prepare
Our opening words this morning come from Palestinian-American poet Naomi Shihab Nye, a poem called Red Brocade. The Arabs used to say, when a stranger appears at your door, feed him for 3 days before asking who he is, where he's come from, where he's headed. That way, he'll have strength enough to answer. Or, by then you'll be such good friends, you don't care. Let's go back to that. Rice? Pine nuts? Here, take the red brocade pillow. My child will serve water to your horse. No, I was not busy when you came. I was not preparing to be busy. That's the armor everyone put on to pretend they had a purpose in the world. I refuse to be claimed. Your plate is waiting. We will snip fresh mint into your tea. We are gathered here, strangers really, though we may have met before, and we arrive to consider how to connect beyond the world's definitions and divisions, across the chasms of our experiences, to dwell in a single hospitable place together, to drink the tea of common purpose, of solidarity that might move our world toward peace. We light our chalice in that hope.
Our opening set of hymns is both a meditation and a charge. Meditation on Breathing by Sarah Dan Jones, which was written in the wake of 9/11, and Curtis Mayfield's People Get Ready. The first song, Meditation on Breathing, has just the words, breathe in, breathe out. And when I breathe in peace, I'll breathe. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. And when I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. If you wanted to spend this song breathing in peace and breathing out love, that would be more than enough. It's also a song that's just great to kind of just keep your eyes closed and say breathe in, breathe out over and over again. There's a bunch of different parts that we'll kind of add, and if you know them, feel free to add them in as we go. I'm gonna have us keep our seats for this one so we can just be centered. And about halfway through, we'll add in that second song, People Get Ready. And then we'll put them together once we have them all going. We're just gonna start with breathe in and breathe out. Here we go. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. People get ready. People get ready. There's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage. You just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. Let's all sing that. People get ready. People get ready. There's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage. You just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. People get ready. People get ready. There's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage. You just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket. You just thank. You can sing either song. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. All you need is faith to hear the breathe out. Don't need no ticket. Just breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe breathe. Don't need no baggage. You just breathe out love. When I breathe is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. Let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you. A Candle of Sorrow from Rebecca Reed, in remembrance of her family's cat, Lily, who passed away this week. Lily always loved chasing rolled-up pipe cleaners down the hallways, curling up next to Rachel's dad while he read books in the morning, and had both a sassy and a gentle presence. We love you so much, Lily.
A Candle of Sorrow from Fran Peterson. A candle of sorrow for my favorite man on the planet, my Uncle Billy, who was placed on hospice earlier this week. He is the youngest of 5 and the last of a great group of aunts and uncles who always nurtured us, loved us, and cheered us on. My wish is his transition is peaceful and is greeted by all of his people to welcome him home, and that they make a nice Italian dinner, Italian cookies included. A mixed candle for Lois Hartzog, who has a health issue. It will heal in time, and we are sending her wishes for a speedy recovery. And a final candle of sorrow for the violence in Newton this week between supporters of Palestine and supporters of Israel. May we find ways to be the call of love even when we disagree.
To be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
My daughter came back. A candle of great joy from Fan Peterson. A candle of great joy and celebration that my nephew Shane has been accepted into a new school. This school is out of his district, and it was a long battle to get him the education that he needs. We are hopeful that our dear Shane will grow socially and emotionally, and he will thrive in this supportive environment. Thank you to everyone who listened to our story on Meta, during tea, or in person. A final candle of great joy from the Arlington Street community. A candle of joy from the Arlington Street community for Colton Hewley and Eliza Walker, who were married by Rev Alley at Arlington Street yesterday. It was a beautiful celebration of community, literature, and so much love. Congratulations to Colton and Eliza. We are so happy for you.
Open my heart
sorrows and joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, for all nations, for all beings. Amen.
Let's join now in saying together the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación, y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. Our next hymn is When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. We'll be led by the choir, and the words to sing along can be found in the order of service in the chat on page 1008 of the Teal Songbook. Let's rise now in body, rise in spirit, and sing together When Our Hearts Are in a Holy Place.
Our reading this morning is from John O'Donohue, a Celtic poet and spiritual teacher. For the traveler, Every time you leave home, another road takes you into a world you were never in. New strangers on other paths await. New places that have never seen you will startle a little at your entry. Old places that knew you well will pretend nothing changed since your last visit. When you travel, you will find yourself alone in a different way. More attentive now to the self you bring along. The more subtle eye watching you abroad, and how what meets you touches that part of the heart that lies low at home. How you unexpectedly attune to the timbre of some voice, opening in conversation you want to take into where your longing has pressed hard enough inward on some unsaid dark to create a crystal of insight you could not have known you needed to illuminate your way. John O'Donohue makes it sound so lovely, doesn't he? To travel to an unknown place, physical or spiritual, and encounter the limits of ourselves, to be enlightened. The threshold encounters we're talking about all this month in worship always contain a promise of deeper wisdom and compassion. And yet, many of us arrive with more fears and more yearnings than we realize. Our stories to match the fears easily take a prominent place in our memories, make our tender hearts shy. Stories of places where we knew connection may have been possible but had no idea how to make it, or where connection was attempted and spurned. Those uncomfortable memories live alongside our visions of beloved community, the holy places we can be where all creeds and colors are welcome, that welcome table where we all partake and share wisdom across all those differences. We want to feel ourselves enriched, enhanced, grown in our ability to hold our oneness and our distinctions in a loving tension. But our fears and our hesitations constantly challenge those hopes. They are a sobering reminder that this work might not be easy. The awkward tension of a threshold moment is sometimes not just messy or awkward, it is painful. I carry lots of those stories of tension myself, and one that I want to share with you this morning lived with me as a deep knot in my belly for decades. When I was about to begin 7th grade, my family moved to a suburb of Columbus, Ohio, where I made what I thought, as only a 12-year-old can, that I had made the best friends I would ever make in my life. The best of those best friends was a girl named Robin. We were tight. So when my family then moved just 18 months later in the middle of my 8th grade year, I was devastated. How in the world could I make such good friends again, ever? I aggressively kept in touch, writing letters back and forth as fervently as we would write notes in class before. Now, this was before email or texting or Snapchat, so you can imagine the wait for a response was excruciating. Robin then moved to San Diego a couple years later, and as luck would have it, the summer after we both turned 15, my family was going on a road trip through Southern California. How great it would be to see each other. We made the arrangements, we two teenagers, and I called her from the place where we were camping with family friends the 2 nights before arriving in San Diego. "I can't wait to see you," she squealed. "You'll have to spend the night, of course." "Let me check with my parents," I said. "I don't know what our plans are." "Mom, Dad, Robin has invited us to stay over in San Diego. Can we please?" My not normally indulgent parents knew how much I missed my friend, and they reluctantly agreed. So off we went to San Diego. We pulled up in front of what to us looked like a huge modern house in a manicured neighborhood. Robin and I greeted each other on the front walk, and I told her my family was just taking a minute to get out of the car. She looked at me, puzzled, and said, "They're getting out of the car?" "I invited you to stay over," she said. "Well, let me ask my mom if everyone can come." I was utterly embarrassed, had no idea how I could have misunderstood what to me seemed like a clear invitation. I was traveling with my family. An invitation to you had to be plural or it didn't make any sense. Where would they stay? Robin's parents were quite put out by the request. They explained to my father that they only had 3 bedrooms in the house for the 3 of them. My father, further embarrassing me, asked if they could just put their sleeping bags out on the floor in the living room. Shock and horror were mirrored in my parents' and Robin's parents' faces. That too was vetoed. Directions to the nearest motel were given, an expense I knew wasn't in my parents' budget for the trip. They let me stay, but the knot in my stomach as I did was enormous. I felt selfish, a traitor to my family for a friendship I was now less certain of than ever. The next day, my parents picked me up, my mother fuming in the front seat, while my sisters excitedly told me the story of how nice that motel was. I was old enough to know that meant there must have been a financial sacrifice. After what felt like forever, my father simply said, "I hope you know, our people always, always make room for guests." Later, I would overhear my parents arguing over the reasons for what they perceived to be the rude behavior. My Iranian father said it was the selfishness of Americans that explained it all. For my American mother, who was raised working class, it was their wealth that explained their lack of hospitality. For me, it was that I should have known better than to assume anything. Further evidence that my culturally strange and financially strapped family would always be misfits. I felt sure I would never get it right. Felt like a complete fool. Now, as a parent of a teenager and a college student living in the suburbs, I know that I too would be greatly put out by a request that a whole family stay at a moment's notice. I know that internal sigh of exhaustion at the thought of having to be on for people in my own home, how much it takes to host even the most familiar of friends. It took decades for me to arrive at the lesson, but what I've learned from that experience as a teenager, from turning over and over my own shame, my regret, my anger at myself and my parents and my friend and her parents, is the wish for all of us to have been able to pause in our moment of judgment of ourselves and of each other. My parents didn't choose that awkward spot, and likely their own shame ramped up their judgment. I think it's safe to say the same was happening for Robin's parents. And we 2 teens in the middle, once so close we couldn't imagine what it could be to be parted, realized that there were far more differences between us and how we saw the world than we ever would have imagined. We arrive at our encounters with strangers, or of being the stranger, wishing to be seen fully, to be known for all of our good intentions, our desire to connect, and yet we hold so many misgivings born of hard experience, real experience, and those scars cannot be ignored. Yet there's another truth at work alongside them, within them. John O'Donohue's poem continues, "When you travel, a new silence goes with you, and if you listen, you will hear what your heart would love to say." Sometimes the toughest encounters bring us closer to what our heart would love to say in ways that staying in our comfort zone just doesn't. In our tender moments when we feel ourselves beyond the reach of what we knew, if we can forgive ourselves for not knowing, if we can swim past the ego's terrain of embarrassment, we land at that longing, our true wish. If you would have asked my 15-year-old self, I would have said my true wish was to feel that my family fit in, to feel welcome and known and loved, for my family to see the value of my friendship, and for my friendship to be so strong we would never misunderstand one another. I also wanted our family not to be seen as cheap and presumptuous, and Robin's family not to be considered stingy, and for us to stay in that bond of friendship that seemed unbreakable forever. Because that wish was clearly not going to come true, I tucked away the sharp edges of that memory, unable to feel anything but regret. But now, I would say my true wish was to know that whatever our mistakes, we are all held in a love greater than our fear, than our pain. A love that defies shame by inviting us to learn, that calls us toward growth, especially in the tough moments. A few years ago, Robin found me on social media, and we began a light correspondence. After a few superficial back and forths to catch up on the bigger contours of our lives, we sent messages almost at the same time, referring to that last time we had seen each other in person. She said her mother remembers me by it. I said, that didn't sound like the best thing to be remembered by. And she said, it was such a hard time for all of us. I think we all wish it had been different. That grace, the simplicity and the truth of it, brought me to tears right at my keyboard. It took years to get to it. I hadn't had the courage to seek it out deliberately, but it was there. It was always there. We are always held in an embrace invisible and infinite, an endless font of love that reaches for our flourishing. My prayer for us is that in the tough moments, we can remind ourselves of its truth. That when we are ready, we can find our companions in the challenging encounters and offer and receive deeper understanding. My story this morning took decades and had a coda that was kind of by chance. And I'm working on shortening the arc between the painful moments and reconnecting. And I'm pretty sure some of you are already better at it than I am. It's one of the benefits of being in congregational life, truly, to be in the company of people who are taking their spiritual lives seriously, modeling for each other what most of us can't do all the time, but a lot of us can do some of the time. The little moments of connection can strengthen us for the bigger, more fraught ones. Those little moments, as small and fleeting as the joy of a genuine smile of thanks from a person who got change at your car window, or as profoundly humbling as the experience of being hosted generously in international travel by people who live for a month on what you spend in a day. It can be the surprise of the person ahead of you paying for your coffee, or the person who stands at a busy subway entrance and waits for you, holding the door so you can catch your train. If we make it our habit to pay attention to the small moments, our hearts and our spirits are stronger for the big ones. A journey can become a sacred thing. Make sure before you go to take the time to bless your going forth, writes John O'Donohue, to free your heart of ballast so that the compass of your soul might direct you toward the territories of the Spirit, where you will discover more of your hidden life and the urgencies that deserve to claim you. True hospitality always wells up from the roots of our beings and has to be grounded very literally in our spirit's need for connection. If we let ourselves be held firm in our soul's foundation, that need to reach out and to bring in, to discover the love that's our common source and our destination, not in sentimental platitudes, but in active experience of reaching past fear and self-doubt, of risking the awkward and uncomfortable for the sake of an experience of grace. All week, we have opportunities in our lives apart from one another to practice bringing in the wonder, to let the vulnerable places in our souls to take the risk of connection, discover something that's true and precious and real, and offer it to each other when we gather. In the name of love, in the name of connection, in the name of growth and goodness, let us make our humble offerings to each other, and let us learn more of ourselves as we do, again and again and again. Amen.
Arlington Street Church is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us. And our generosity continues to be astounding. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. This month's beneficiary is the Massachusetts Immigrant, Refugee, and Advocacy Coalition. Through their program supporting the social, civic, and economic integration of immigrants and refugees, Mira is committed to making Massachusetts a model of inclusivity and welcoming for people from all around the world. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to sustain our beloved Arlington Street and our neighbors who are immigrants and refugees. You can give online at ascboston.org or check the order of service for instructions on how to give via QR code, Venmo, or text message. You may also mail a check to the church or use the envelopes in the pews, which can be given to the ushers as they come through momentarily with collection plates. Thank you for your generosity.
You can hold my hand when you need to let go. I can be your mountain when you're feeling valley low. I can be your street light, showing you the way home. You can hold my hand when you need to let go. Oh, I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world, 'cause we're here and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. If we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seeds, plant a little happiness, let the roots run deep. If it's love that we give, then it's love that we reap. If we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seed. Oh, I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world, 'cause we're here and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. The door is always open, your picture's on my wall. Everyone's a little broken, and everyone belongs. Yeah, everyone belongs. I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world, 'cause we're here and able, and bring us back together when the day is done, and bring us back together when the day is done.
Friends, will you join me in prayer? Spirit of life, source of love, our troubled hearts need some rest. We are looking for the well-worn and comfortable rooms where we know we will be fed without question, where our thirst for companionship will be satisfied no matter where we have been, regardless of where we plan to go. We lift our hearts in gratitude for each and every moment we have been welcomed at a crowded table, where everyone's a little broken and everyone belongs. Let us hold that space in our hearts and seek out that warm and spacious place, that well of unconditional love in our moments of fear and unknowing. May we find ways to free our hearts of ballast, to bless our going forth, to become aware of the selves we bring along so that we can be the hosts for others, vessels of grace and compassion designed for healing and hope in a world whose need is deep. In the name of all that is holy, we lift up this prayer. Amen.
Our final hymn is Come and Go With Me to That Land. Choir can come on up. I heard after we rehearsed this, I heard the choir talking after rehearsal, and they said, what is that land? In the Come and Go With Me to That Land. And well, in this African-American spiritual, that land we sing about is meant a lot into many things to different people. It comes from the theology of the promised land of Canaan in Israel. And then during a period of slavery in our country, it has meant escaping to the north to freedom, that land. And it has meant that perfect, idealistic land in the afterlife, heaven. But I think the reason that we sing this song together and have these years is that it also calls us to create a land right here on earth, here among us now, a land that is worthy of all of our ideals of freedom and justice and love. And if we are to get to that land, it will not be on our own. We must do it together. So I invite us to rise in body, rise in spirit, and let's sing together, Come and Go With Me to That Land. We're going to start slow and ramp it up. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come go. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, oh where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. You know there'll still be struggle though. There'll be struggle in that land. There'll be struggle in that land. There'll be struggle in that land where I'm bound, oh where I'm bound. There'll be struggle in that land. There'll be struggle in that land. There'll be struggle in that land where I'm bound. Justice, there'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where in that land. There will be justice in that land where I'm bound. There will be singing. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Last one again. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. One more time. Come and go with me to that land where I'm
Now, I invite those of you in the Zoom room to please reach out your hands and touch the side of your square, and those of you in the sanctuary to raise your hands, palms out. And let's send loving kindness to the people on your left and on your right, to the person on either side of you and the person on either side of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. And now, gathering in that loving kindness, let us put our hands over heart center, drawing in all that was just sent out, aware of the connection between each of our beings and the heart of all creation. Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and may that love lift us up and guide us forward until we meet again. The service begins when the service ends. Go in peace. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are my
please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.